We're one day away.
We're 1 day away.
In other news, I have one of these now, which means I'm probably a single salt life sticker away from a midlife crisis. Yeah. Welcome to our adventure. I'm Brian. I was lucky enough to find someone who loves the ocean as much as I do.
I'm Erica. I found someone who loves exploring as much as I do. Together we sail the seas, trek the globe, or even just take a drive, as long as it's somewhere new.
Hey gang, how's it going? We are marinaed again. It is raining. So we came up the ICW yesterday and stopped at a little place called Coin Jock, which I guess is where everybody stops because it's kind of the last thing before you head up north towards the Chesapeake.
The storm, it's just a wall that they say is going to pass over pretty quickly, but it's just dumping so much rain. Coming up, we can see the water level like coming up to the bottom of the dock.
The bad thing about that is if the rain keeps coming up and the water keeps rising like that, then they won't open the bridges tomorrow because a lot of the bridges tomorrow are like swing bridges and all of that, and if the water gets to the bottom of them, they can't open them until they are the water comes down and then they are inspected.
I know. Boats weren't meant for all of this water, let me tell you what. You can just see the ripples of it going out. Wow. Holy sh**. That is the river. We're 99% of the way through with our trip, and we're gonna lose maybe 3 nights to weather.
We're 1 day away.
We're 1 day away.
It'll be a fairly long day, but still 1 day away. And can't get there. Awesome.
Brian's doing a little dance while something terrible is happening to geese.
We made
Like
it.
skin of our teeth.
All right. So, interesting morning.
Yeah.
We made it yesterday because we got in pretty late, so we didn't, video. We left. All right.
Dramatically.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and start off by saying that everything bad that happens to us happens when we're in a rush. So don't be in a rush, like basically ever. It's not worth it.
Yeah, we were in a rush because we had thought that we were going to be losing a whole nother day at the marina because of the high waters that I think we mentioned to you before. Everyone had said that the waters were too high for the bridges to open, and so we just planned to stay another day, and we were not super happy about it because we were so close to being here. And then one of our boat neighbors came up and told us that they were thinking about opening the bridges and to just be on the lookout, and if we saw them sailing away, then the bridges were open and we should follow them out. So
we
were
did.
excited.
Yeah, so
do that.
we saw them sailing out, and we were like, great, let's rock and roll, let's do this thing.
Yeah.
So the water was deceptively calm,
Yeah, it looked placid.
and so we did not take into account the current. So when you're leaving a dock, you're supposed to go into the current, not with the current. There was a really nice 45-foot leopard, sorry. Yeah, 45-foot leopard right in front of us. Very expensive, very new, very shiny boat. And so we used the ropes to pull ourselves out at an angle, hit the angle that was kind of maximum for what we could do, and then we were going to just take off and try and kind of sneak past the leopard. But as soon as we turned sideways, the current, which was much stronger than we thought, caught us, and we kind of sideways slid into a very expensive boat.
Yeah, and it was one of those things that, it happens in kind of slow motion, but you're positively helpless to do anything about it because you've got God knows how many pounds of boat at the mercy of how the forces of a huge river, and just kind of slow motion, completely helplessly crunched. Oh, the crunch.
Yeah.
into
So
the boat.
we hit on the strong part of their boat and the weak part of ours. So the damage to their boat was like basically a tiny scuff. But it looks like the damage to ours is also a tiny scuff. It's just when you hit anything like that, there's this crunch of the fiberglass that just eats into your soul.
It does. So after we hit the other boat, luckily there were a bunch of people who were kind of milling about, who jumped in to help us. Thank you very much for that, people at the marina.
Oh yeah, God.
So
everybody there, amazing.
Yeah, we threw them some lines, and they tied us around some poles and stuff. And Brian got down on the dock and helped them, and I was up on the boat, just trying to keep the boat from pushing into the dock still. And the people on the other boat were super nice, and they were keeping us off of their boat some more. And so, with teamwork, we ended up positioning it around, turning it around with the ropes, which in future is the tactic that we're going to use.
Yeah.
If there's any kind of questionable current, to use ropes and use help.
Yeah.
That's what we learned. Use ropes, use help to get off the dock in tight quarters.
Yeah.
And finally sailed away. And after that initial adrenaline, not going to be ashamed to say that I had a little cry. I was really kind of upset about it.
The rest of the trip up was really nice. We got to go through a lock, which was cool.
And Virginia has a lot of interesting bridges. It seems like no two bridges open the same way. Weather on the trip up was not the best either. And we learned a lot about the inadequacies of our enclosure, of our cockpit enclosure. It was hilarious actually for me to watch just all of the rainwater from the whole sky. It seemed funneling straight into Brian's lap.
Yeah, good times.
Not so good for Brian though.
So we'll be looking to get a new enclosure. We hit Norfolk, and Norfolk everything kind of opens up and you learn what a small boat ours actually is.
Yeah, up until this point, we've been the big boy on the water.
Yeah, so you get to Norfolk and it's shipping vessels and military vessels, like aircraft carriers, like legitimate aircraft carriers, like big boys.
We made it like to the very, very end of our journey, like literally feet away from where we were supposed to be docked. It was very dark, and like just the little bit of insult to injury, apparently there were some like rebar, like very subtle rebar stakes sticking up.
Yeah, people, I guess they put them to mark kind of shallow water, but they don't put them in anything reflective, and so if you're coming in at night, you can't see them. And
so we had something else.
Yeah, we had a spotlight out there looking at everything and could not see them.
No.
And then we ended up hitting this like piece of rebar, I guess. I don't know. We're going to have to figure out what that did.
Yeah, I mean, it was minor, I'm sure. It was just like a little thing, but I mean, come on. Haven't we run into enough things?
Well, we made it up here to our marina, and it is beautiful and wonderful, and we slept very soundly last night and had a celebratory drink. We'll be here for a while we start working on the refit, which we will show you guys.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of work, but fun, I hope.